road trip, California, Salt Lake City, back to Las Vegas, and then back to California. This is day one. We're in Reno. I'm going to try to do a log, maybe daily, maybe not daily, but that's not important. I'm going to try to give impressions of this road trip. And let me just step back a little bit. The purpose of this podcast is to give people a sense for what it feels like to run a hedge fund. It is incredibly important to read, as I said many times, but reading is just part of the story. I think you need to put yourself in new situations. I think you need to put yourself in situations where your brain, your neurons, your synapses, everything is forced to readjust, to adjust, to try to iterate, find new ways to deal with situations. All these things are important, and I think a trip like this is part of that. I think there's a couple of purposes of vacations. One is to relax, the other is to learn, and the third is also to shake things up. This is one of those. This is not even wrong podcast. It's December 19th, 2021. This is Krim Delco. It's a Sunday. There's no update for the year. We're up 20.9%. The market's up 21.3%. We're underperforming by 0.4%. This is the first day of a road trip that we're planning to do for about 2 weeks. We're going from California to Salt Lake City. There's going to be some skiing, hiking, snowshoeing, and then Moab, Zion, Vegas, and back. So I'm going to go step by step and not talk too much about the future. We are in Reno now. And before I just paraphrase what happened, explain what happened today, I just want to give a little bit of an intro of why we believe this road trip is important. This is the holidays. We're just right before Christmas. We're going into New Year. So it's maybe a little bit of a time of reflection, a little bit of a time not to be occupied with the daily business. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I think part of the holidays is to reflect, to go back, to think about things that maybe you don't have the kind of time or the kind of energy to do during typical weekly, daily business type occupations. So I think this road trip, the purpose of this road trip is a couple of things. We want to relax, we want to go skiing. I want to go try Alta, which is one of the ski resorts I have never skied, which I think is amazing. I've hiked it once. Actually, it's Snowbird to be precise, but it's the kind of the same mountain. And the steepness, the altitude, the exposure, those are the kinds of things that we're looking for when we ski. And we're pretty excited about this. So what is the purpose of this road trip? Again, it's to shake things up, to go a little bit into the unknown, to go into territories that we're not used to, but it's not completely new, but it's exciting in the sense that we believe that it's going to be challenging, it's going to be cold, the skiing's going to be hard, the traffic's going to be difficult. We've never done this. We stay in Salt Lake City. We're going to ski Alta. We're going to ski Park City. There's a lot of things that we haven't done, and I think I just want to mention this sort of as a prelude to this road trip log that I'm gonna hopefully do in the next 2 weeks. And this is that I've said so many times that reading is part of conditioning of the mind, and I think traveling is very similar to reading. In a sense, I strongly second what Angus Fletcher is saying, which is, all these things that we call books, novels, memoirs, and I think also travel documentaries and all that stuff. These are all marketing terms. Stories are stories. And for me, going on a trip like this is like a story that I'm not reading, I'm consuming it, I'm living it myself. And I'm creating the story because everything, every observable in the end is theory laden. So I think this is what I think so exciting about this trip is that this is kind of like reading a book, and that's why I think I wanna talk about this log. So today we traveled from San Francisco to Reno. I think the most interesting things that happened is we met one of our friends from Brazil, spoke about raising kids and kind of taking risks, and the sole purpose I think of a parent is to try to entice taking risks for their kids. So this is one of the conversations we had, and then we hit the road and we went from San Francisco to Reno. I think I want to just mention a few words about Reno, and this is pretty important. I think Reno has been for us always sort of, let's say, I have a weak spot in my heart for the city because it's been the city that we really started understanding Tesla from the ground up. It's been the city where Tesla has built the first gigafactory. We went there when it was still in the process of being built, and we went there to see probably one of the first tours. We met people here. We're pretty close to this place, and I think these things matter. These things matter because particularly when you're in the wealth generating business, when people don't have a lot of other data points, when you don't have too many people out there talking about something that you're interested in, and you're starting to form your own opinion, which is absolutely crucial to wealth generation, as we've spoken many times before on this podcast. But it's just unbelievably helpful to have a focal point when pursuing wealth generation, because again, you're in uncharted waters. You're in a situation that has never been seen before, has never been done before. You need to find ways to deal with the uncertainty, and one of the ways to deal with uncertainty is to have a focal point. What is a focal point? A focal point is a place that you can come back to, either physically or at least mentally. Remember what you saw, remember what you learned, remember what you went through, remember the emotions you went through, and learn from that, and then deal with the uncertainty when it comes, and have that focal point as a little bit of a rock in the storm. So to summarize, again, day one of our road trip: California, Salt Lake City, back to Vegas, and then back to California. I think Reno, as I said, focal point for us, very important. It's not absolutely indispensable to be in the money-making business to have a focal point like that, but it certainly helps. Thank you.